the Zoom. So somebody, maybe I'm going to randomly pick somebody. What do you think an equation has that an expression does not have? Somebody unmute themselves and give me an answer.
Way to solve it.
Okay, that is really good. A way to solve. You can solve an equation. So an equation can be solved. An expression cannot. An expression cannot be solved. Do you know what you do with an expression? If you cannot solve it, what do you do? So if I gave you, simplify, that you can simplify. And guys, in elementary school, they confuse those two terms a lot. They really do, because it's really hard to tell until you get an equation with a variable. Does it make sense to tell the two things are different? Okay, so an equation, if I'm going to solve it, it has to have what? You guys have solved equations for me. All of my equations equaled 42. What did they all have in common besides the 42?
Equal sign.
Equal sign. An equation, I'm writing all over this thing. An equation has to have an equal sign. An equation has to have an equal sign. Okay? An equation has to have an equal sign. An expression does not. So an equation could be like 2m plus 6 equals 7. That's an equation. Okay? So if I had 2m, that's an expression. Okay? So then let's see, my board is kind of off the rails here slightly. Let's see if I can scooch that over a little bit. Here we go. Okay. No. All right. Oh, that's all going to be on top of it too. Okay. So an equation and an expression, it is important that you guys know the difference between those two words. All right. So let's try and do this problem at the bottom. Let me see if can you guys read the whole thing? Let's see. Let me get rid of all of that. Come on, you can do this, little guy. So here we go. Oh, come on, Pages, stay there. There we go. Now we got one that I haven't written on. So right now, we're going to give you guys like 2-3 minutes to do question 1 and 2. Read those. And guys, you cannot use pen and paper because it very clearly states right here, use mental math. Mental math. So no pen, no paper. Mental math. So I'm going to set the timer for 2.5 minutes because I just talked through half of it. Now I'm having trouble setting the timer. There we go. We need like game show music so you guys can do your problem. Let's see if I can find that. There you guys go. You guys won't talk to me. I'll just play random music. Da, 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 da. 1 minute left. Oh, now we're just playing random game show music. What's this from? Go back to Jeopardy. Do, do, do. Do, do, do.
You can who? Mrs. Joyner,
Okay. Yes.
could you do the Kahoot?
What?
The Kahoot lyric, the Kahoot music instead?
Oh, I could have, but I'd have to look it up. I have to get my playlist back up and running. Okay, so
Okay.
Brian and his friends are playing a mental math game. Brian asks each of his friends to pick a number, multiply it by 4, and add 6 to the product. Luke says he ends up with 18. What number did Luke start with? I need a volunteer. Okay, so Avery, you raised your hand. Avery, what do you got?
I got the number 3.
You got the number 3. That would be correct. Okay, so now, how did you find Luke's original number? There's a couple different ways you could get there. So what do you got, Omar? How did you get 3, Omar?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I did it by like I multiplied 4 and 2 and 4 and 3 and added 6 and I got 18.
4 times 2, and then you said what?
No, I did 4 times 3. I thought it was 4 times 2 first, but then I did 4 times 3. So 4 times 3 plus 6.
So you did 4 times 3 plus 6. So the first time when you came up with the 3, was that like guess and check? You thought 3 might be the right number?
Yeah.
Okay, anybody have another
Yeah.
way that they did it? That is right, Omar's right, but there are other ways to do this. Anybody have another way? Diesel?
18 minus 6 divided by 4.
So you did 18 minus 6 divided by 4. Okay, so on that one, you did what's the word called the inverse. Anybody can anybody define the word inverse for us? What does the word inverse mean? The inverse of making your bed would be what? Inverse. Inverse. Max, what's an inverse? Oh, Max put his hand down. What's an inverse, guys? The inverse of addition is subtraction. The inverse of multiplication is division. The inverse of division is multiplication. The inverse of making my bed is getting in my bed. Okay, Vance, what's an inverse? So you guys popping up your little hands. Inverse? Genevieve, do you know what an inverse is? You guys got to unmute yourself if you're going to talk to us.
Doing the opposite?
Doing the opposite. That's perfect. Inverse is the opposite. You're undoing. Most of algebra is undoing math. They are going to give us a question and we're missing part of the puzzle piece. So we have to do the backwards of everything to get back to the beginning number they're looking at. Algebra is like a ginormous puzzle where we're missing a big piece of it. And we have to figure out how to get there. That is what we're doing this year, okay? So part of this is going to be on Gizmo. So Gizmo is going to be slightly frustrating. So you all, according to 7th grade teachers, have Gizmo accounts. You all who went to school here last year have a Gizmo account from last year. Can you put into the, if you could tell me over there on the side, if you do not have a Gizmo account. Well, I guess that'd almost be easier if you didn't, because it's hard because you got to remember something. So right now, if you look, I'm going to get rid of all of this stuff on this screen so then I can show you what we want. So we're going to log on to Gizmo. So I want you to do this. Okay? So you can either go to explorelearning.com or you can just type in the word Gizmo. And let me go circle that for you. And that's the code you need. It's also, this page is on your Google Classroom page so you can see it. So it is up on Google Classroom as well. Okay. And then in a couple minutes we'll check. It does take a little bit of time to get everybody into Gizmo, which doesn't make it the most fun class that we're going to have ever here. But it is important that we, oh my goodness, that we get everybody in. Okay. So we're just going to patiently wait and get